This is Athletes as Educators with former pro basketball player, championship winning coach, and author Angela R. Lewis. Angie Lewis interviews current and former athletes who are passionate about sharing the lessons they've learned and the experiences that have shaped their lives. A resource for parents, a guide for student athletes, a source for current and former athletes, keys to transition off the court. Welcome to the Athletes as Educators podcast with Angela R. Lewis.
Welcome to this episode of Athletes as Educators. I'm your host, Angie Lewis. On the podcast today, we have Elizabeth Williams. She played basketball at Duke University. Now she plays for the Atlanta Dream in the WNBA. She received her undergraduate degree in psychology and plans on going to med school after playing ball. Elizabeth, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Now, Elizabeth, can you talk a little bit about your playing career? What was your greatest accomplishment?
Yeah, so basketball has just taken me all over the place. I think probably my greatest accomplishment when I was younger, I was able to play on some USA basketball teams, and I won 3 gold medals playing for those teams. So I think that's probably my biggest accomplishment when it comes to basketball.
That's really amazing. Congratulations. That's exciting. 3 USA teams. When did you first start playing ball, and how did you fall in love with the game?
So I first started playing basketball when I was 9 years old, and I played soccer originally. Both of my parents are big on soccer, and I really enjoy soccer. I mean, I was actually just watching the U.S. Women's National Team play in the Olympics, so I've always enjoyed soccer, but basketball kind of came up by chance. I was growing a lot, and some of my dad's friends and family friends were saying, "Oh, maybe your daughter should play basketball, just try it out." And so I started playing, and I was not very good at all, obviously, because I never played. But I loved the game, and I wanted to work at it, and I started training more and more, and now I'm where I am. So.
You made a really good point that you weren't very good. I think a lot of times young athletes get frustrated when they're not good and they want to give up. But no one starts off really good. So how did you continue to persevere even though you knew that it was rough?
Well, for one, it was something that I really enjoyed. And I think when you enjoy something, you want to keep playing and you want to get better at it. And so I think for me, that was a big part of it is I love the game, and obviously, I want to be the best that I can be whenever I play.
Mm-hmm. Fun is a big part of it. And then just this desire. It sounds like you have something internal. You wanted to be better because it's what you wanted, not necessarily other people pushing you toward it. Yeah,
definitely. And I mean, that's why I continued to play, because even my dad had told me when I was pretty young, he said, no, this basketball thing, this is up to you. If you want to do it, you want to continue, this is your call. And he gave me that freedom at a young age, and both my parents have supported me ever since.
That's tremendous. A lot of parents want so much for their kids that sometimes, we've seen it all at AAU tournaments and high school tournaments. Parents can be overbearing, but to allow their kid the freedom to just try it and to decide if it's what they want, sounds like it worked really well for you.
Yeah, it definitely did. I have a little brother, and he's playing basketball now, but the boy side is really intense as far as, the parents are concerned. They're really into it. You'll see parents fighting at boys tournaments all the time because the parents can be so overbearing, and, in reality, it's not even about them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you've seen parents literally fighting?
Yeah, at AAU tournaments. It happened. It's happened before when I played when I was younger, but it's not as intense as I've seen in the boys' tournaments.
Why do you think it's different on the boys' side?
I think the stakes are higher. When you look at if you're let's say you're a kid from the inner city, and if your parents aren't stressing education or something else, all they see on TV are athletes. And so for them, it's I have to be, or I want my kid to be an athlete and make a bunch of money or whatever. And I feel too many people only see that as the only way out.
Mm-hmm. There's really limited views of what you can become. And so you have kids who are fighting for it to be that one that makes it, and so many other people are depending on them. We've seen that, like the ESPN 30 for 30s, where where people have gone broke because of taking care of other people.
Exactly.
A
Yeah.
lot of athletes. So some people are going to listen in, like they're going to read the headline and see that you play for the Atlanta Dream in the WNBA and going to assume that it was just a walk in the park for you. Can you talk about some of the challenges you faced?
Yeah, definitely. For me, probably my big challenge was injuries because, like, coming into college, immediately, like my freshman year, I had a stress fracture, and then that led to a stress reaction in my foot. And so in college, like, I probably was at 100% like my senior year, just because of random injury. So dealing with that, and like the mental toughness of going through that it's not easy. And then obviously school, like going to Duke, it's challenging off the court too. So you have to find a way to balance your sleep and your eating habits and your time. And so like it definitely wasn't always easy.
Elizabeth, you said that you were 100% 1 year. Like out of 4 years, there was only 1 year where you felt 100%?
Yeah, I mean, there were years I felt really good, or I would feel like good for certain parts of the year.
But you know,
but for me to say like for a full year, I would probably say my senior year.
It's important though for young athletes to hear that, because when you're in college, everybody's hurting in some way, right? So like being hurt is you're just hurting and in pain. Injured is you can't go at all. And like for coaches, there's no in between. Either you can go or you can't. And the expectation doesn't change. How did you deal with injury? You said that you had to have a lot of mental toughness. You know, athletes are playing younger these days, and they're experiencing injury more often. How do you deal with that?
Well, I think part of the problem with athletes, with like kids having more injuries, is because they're devoting themselves to one sport too early. So like, and I know studies have shown this, but it's really important for kids to play multiple sports and do like different things so they can get other muscle groups going, especially at a young age. And so like when you have parents that are like only focusing on one sport from the age of like 5 years old, like of course you're more likely to have like some type of injury specific to your sport just because like that's all you do. So I think it's really big for kids and for parents too to be open to like having their kids, you know, do other things, but also if they only want to play one sport, emphasizing like taking care of your body and recovering and stuff like that.
Taking care of their body is essential. And playing one sport, you know, like you said, it's hard to be able to, for your body to take that amount of pounding over time. They need rest, and they need that time to recover and to rest. Shifting here a little bit, but keeping in line with medicine, you're going to med school when you finish playing. Will you talk a little bit about the program you were in at Duke and what you learned?
Yeah, so I was in a program called CAPE at Duke, stands for Collegiate Athlete Pre-Medical Experience, and it's specifically for female student athletes that were pre-med. And so it actually originally got started from a women's basketball player, Georgia Schweitzer, who's now married, Georgia Beasley, that she basically just shadowed one of the neurosurgeons. She's a huge women's basketball fan. And now she is like a chief surgeon at Duke. And she's just killing it, has a family and everything. And so basically, like, her and those doctors that she worked with decided, hey, like, there are other athletes that kind of want to do the same thing as going into medicine, but it's hard when you're an athlete and you're a woman that's trying to go into medicine. So I created this program, and now we have a bunch of people in med school already or out of med school, and about 50 current members like within undergrad. And so we get the chance to shadow different doctors. We get the chance to read different journal articles and just discuss them. And so this is a really cool opportunity, and it was unique to Duke.
So What facet of medicine are you most interested in?
For me, I'm not open to anything, but through CAPE, I did an internship at the hospital, and I actually enjoyed surgery a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really think I would like surgery that much, but I was in the operating room and like talking to the doctors, and that was really cool for me. And like I wasn't freaked out or anything, so possibly surgery.
You were in the operating room while they were operating and didn't freak out at all?
No, it was
What?
really cool, and yeah, and I saw all types of surgeries, like anything from orthopedic to like a knee, hand, but I also saw spinal surgery, so neurosurgery, brain surgery, like you name it. It was really cool.
You saw the inside of someone's brain?
Yeah.
That is like, what's the movie with Hannibal Lecter? Like, that's all I keep thinking about.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about too.
Yeah, when they cut the guy's brain off. Nevertheless, I think that's a tremendous experience, and oftentimes athletes don't get opportunities to be exposed to different career paths while they're still in undergrad. They're usually
definitely.
So how did you find out about the program?
I found out about the program while I was being recruited, and like that was a big thing because they knew. Well, I mean, the schools that I wanted to go to knew that I was interested in medicine, and so I got to meet the director of the program and the doctors that kind of started the whole thing too. And yeah, so when I got in, I had to apply, and there's an interview process. And then I did all that and got in, and I just loved it.
You know, Elizabeth, that was really interesting. You talked about the college recruiting process. So you had an idea of what you wanted to study going into it, and then that helped guide your decision making. What are some other things that you would say for young athletes who may be going through the process now as to what they should consider when they're selecting a school?
Well, they should have like an idea, a little bit of an idea of what they're looking for. Like you don't want to go in completely blind. Like obviously people say be open to anything, but I think you should still have some type of idea of what you're looking for. For me, like I knew I didn't want to be too far away from home. Like it was really important for my family to be able to come watch me, so that was part of it. And then obviously like medicine and education were big as well, and then of course basketball. So like factoring all those things in, so you at least have to have like some idea of what you're looking for when you're being recruited.
You know, a lot of young players, you made the point that they'll say, well, when you get there, and just stay open. But then when you do that, it can become extremely confusing and difficult to narrow things down.
Yeah, exactly. You need some sort of base. Like obviously be open. Of course, like I mean, most people. I didn't even know I was going to be a psychology major. So, like, there are some things you just don't know for sure, but at least have some idea of what you're looking for in the school, at least.
Now, how did you select your major?
So I thought I was going to be a hard science major, like a biology or something, just because of medicine. But in talking to different advisors and people in CAPE and just like people in general, it doesn't really matter what you major in, because with pre-med, you just have to take those pre-med classes. So there's not really a pre-med major anyway. So you're gonna end up taking those science classes, and if you're not obsessed with science, like you're just gonna be draining yourself, and then it's hard as an athlete, right? Because you don't want to take a billion labs, and you still have practice and stuff to deal with. And I took a couple of psychology classes, and I really, really liked psychology. And so that's how I ended up picking it as my major.
Well, you did some research and you talked to a lot of people, and so you were able to narrow down to the major that made the most sense for you at the time, opposed to randomly selecting something.
Yeah, exactly. And it was something that I liked.
Yep. That happens quite often. Very, very often with young athletes. What was the process like for you going from college to playing professional? There's a lot of young women that want to be where you are. What's your advice for that process?
Take all the advice you can get. I would say that was big for me, whether it was financial advice or if older players are kind of offering you like, hey, if you need anything, hit me up. Like, hit them up, ask them questions. Like, they're they know how you feel, and it's always nice to have somebody there that's like, well, that's there for you. But it's definitely not easy, especially, like, for me, the biggest adjustment was just getting used to not playing. Like, WNBA is not a big league. There's 12 teams, so you're literally playing against the top players in the world. So coming in, like, I wasn't playing a lot of minutes, and that was tough.
How do you deal with that?
Well, one part of it takes time. So coming in, like, I was a little nervous, just trying to get my feet wet and get used to playing. You're in a new city, like, it's nothing like a college feel. Like, you don't have your roommate, like, you have your own apartment, your own place. You're an adult, you're a professional, so you have to handle yourself. You control what you eat, how you take care of your body. So part of it took time getting to that and getting a feel for it, and then also kind of finding that confidence again, like telling yourself, hey, like, I'm here for a reason, I made it this far. So finding that confidence again is kind of what got me going.
You bring up some good points about transitions in life, whether it's transitions from playing college to playing professionally, or leaving college and going into the workforce. The transition takes time to adjust, for sure.
Yeah.
This year is pretty big deal. It's being the 20th anniversary of the WNBA. And it's really exciting to see how far the league has come. Will you talk a little bit about how the league has rallied around the 20th season and what you remember from the league from years ago?
Sure. So one of my biggest memories, I guess, is when I was playing AU. Our team got to go to a Mystics game, and this is actually the 10th anniversary of the league, so 10 years ago. And I just remember going to the game and just, like, all the fans, and I still have the little teddy bears that they were giving away for the 10-year anniversary of the league. And just being able to be exposed to these women that are professional athletes and seeing that at a young age was huge. And now in the league's 20th year, I think numbers are up in every category. I think I just saw some statistic. I think our social media and just outreach is up. It's the highest it's ever been. Viewership is up. So it's like the league is doing really well, and even scoring is up. Players are scoring more points. We've had more overtime games, so, like, it's just been really competitive and really awesome. And it's just cool to say, like, I'm a part of it, because I remember being that kid, just sitting in the stands and watching these women play. I'm one of them.
Yeah, that is really cool. And there are some young girls right now who are going to be there 10 years from now, who will have remembered the 20th anniversary.
Right, yeah. It's pretty awesome.
It is. It is very amazing. The one thing that I thought was extraordinary here recently in the WNBA was the media blackout. I was just watching thinking this is so cool, because you saw teams rally around social justice issues and issues that matter to them. Will you talk a little bit about that and how the league responded?
Yeah, that was huge. The league, like, we as athletes have an awesome opportunity because we have this platform to speak. And obviously, like, you're not obligated to say anything as an athlete. And I think for me, I've kind of grown as far as, speaking up about certain things. Usually I don't really tweet anything or say anything. But I think kind of seeing the impact that we can have on people, especially young people or African Americans, whatever it may be, it's really big. So it was cool to have that media blackout. And I think initially the league, didn't really, obviously they didn't react how we wanted them to, but the fact that our president, Lisa Borders, was open to rescinding the fines and saying, hey, these women have a platform to speak. We obviously want them to make an impact. That was huge, and that says a lot about her and a lot about this league and what we stand for.
There were so many other athletes who were inspired as well, and letting athletes know that although you work for a professional organization, you still have autonomy as a person, and you still have ideas and thoughts that are meaningful to you. And so for you all to be willing to do that, just kudos. Definitely give you guys lots of props for that. Now, when you're not playing during the WNBA season, what are you doing?
So when I'm not in the WNBA season, I'm actually playing overseas. And this year I actually signed with a team in Russia, so I'll be in Russia for a long time, probably 6.5 months. And I mean, a lot of players play overseas. Not everybody, but a lot of players will play overseas and just to make some more money over there.
Will this be your first year in Russia, or had you played there before?
So last season I played in Turkey. That was my first season overseas, and then this will be my first year playing in Russia, yes.
Why did you decide upon Russia?
It's not all me. Like, I have an agent, and she kind of helps me figure out which team, like, what deals are there and which team to play for. But ultimately, it is my decision, and, I mean, it was a good deal money-wise.
Right.
But also to be able to play in EuroLeague, which is the top league in Europe. That's pretty big because I'm going to constantly see really good competition, you know.
Exactly. So the Turkey team wasn't EuroLeague?
No, we were in Eurocup. So we played other teams in Europe, but it's like EuroLeague's top and then Eurocup is the next level.
What are some differences between playing overseas and playing in the States?
Oh, there's plenty. I mean, one, you're not playing in front of friends and family, so you're far away. It's 1 or 2 Americans per team, depending on the team that you're on. There's a language barrier. The food's different. I mean, it's not perfect, but
right.
you live with it and you deal with it. And also, when you're overseas, like, you're the main person on the team, so the team is depending on you to do a little bit of everything. And so just like playing in that way.
You know, yeah. I think that there are a lot of players in college that say they want to play overseas, ones who may not make it to the WNBA because the league is, you know, there's only so many spots in the league. And then when they get overseas, it's a totally different experience. I played in Germany, and I remember being in a van going to one of our games, and everyone was speaking German. And I was like, oh my God, like, I don't know what they're talking about, right? And so little things that we take for granted, you know, when you're playing in the States, culturally and socially, are very different. Did you have those kind of moments in Turkey where you were like, whoa, I'm in another country?
Yeah, definitely. Oh my gosh, I think every day on the way to practice, because we had such a long ride to practice because of the traffic. So I was in Istanbul, and Istanbul is like, it was comparable to New York City, so like there's always traffic all the time. And so there are days and I'm just sitting in this van like, oh, are we ever going to get there? And even coming back to practice, like, you're just tired just from traveling. And so I was like, oh my goodness, like, this is nothing like the States. And just even getting there in the van and like how people drive over there, sometimes I'm like, what are they doing? Like, it's a red light. And yeah, so there are just a lot of moments where I miss the States, but at the same time, I kind of know what I was getting myself into.
Right. Now, how did you deal with being away from family and friends?
That's the toughest part, and that was another hard part about Turkey is we didn't get Christmas off because they're a Muslim country, so they don't celebrate Christmas or have Christmas. Like, it's not even a thing, really. So that was tough. Luckily, thank goodness for technology, because now, I mean, you can FaceTime and Skype and do all that stuff, and with Wi-Fi, like, you're not paying extra for it.
Right.
So at least you can see people in that virtual space, but still, it's hard. Like, you obviously want to hug someone and like hug your family and your friends, and it's hard when you don't have that.
What would you say is some advice that you have for young women who want to play overseas? What should they know? What should they do? I've heard some horror stories.
Well, I mean, I didn't have a bad experience. Like, I had really good teammates. My American teammate was Tana White, and she's a vet. And so for me to have my first year overseas and have a vet as my other American was perfect, because like she kind of told me different things, like things to bring, things to expect. So that was cool. I guess I would just say, just ask a lot of questions, like, especially like when you sign with your agent, make sure like they know what they're doing, and you can talk to them and ask them a lot of things, because mean, you don't really know what to expect depending on the team. And if you are in a nice place, I would definitely tell people to explore. Istanbul's so pretty, like it's right by the water, and people don't have the chance to go to these cities and stuff. So just get out and explore it.
Do you have a favorite place that you visited while you were over there in Istanbul?
Being by the seaside is just really nice. There's a place, it's called Aquaflora, and it's a mall, and it's right on the water, and all the planes that come into the Istanbul airport, they all land the same way. So they land coming from the water to the airport. And so at that mall, you can sit outside and eat dinner and just watch the planes all land, like minute after minute, because it's one of the busiest airports in Europe. And just it's so cool to see that and just be by the water and relax.
Yes, that sounds pretty amazing. It sounds beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You guys are on break for the Olympics.
Correct.
And you have a little bit of time off before playoffs start and things get back rolling with the WNBA. Will you talk a little bit about your season now and what you're looking forward to in these next month and a half?
This break is actually huge because whichever team comes out of this break, ready to go, that's going to be huge for playoffs, because right now we're sitting in fourth, but we're only half a game ahead of the team behind us. So these next couple of weeks is going to be important for us in these practices to kind of, find a flow and a rhythm. Obviously, Angel's not here because she's playing in the Olympics, but for the rest of us, just getting, lifting and getting a lot of shots up and getting used to playing with each other as much as we can is going to be important.
Well, I'll be watching and rooting for you all. Really excited to see the season wrap up and the excitement. One, we want to bring home the gold, but then two, to see the WNBA season end really strong. I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah.
I just thank you so much, Elizabeth, for joining me today. Would love to talk more about your overseas experience. I think there's a lot of young women that want to do that and then want to play professionally in general. If people want to learn more about you and all that you have going on, how can they connect with you?
Well, I'm on social media.
Okay.
So, my Instagram and Twitter are E_Williams_1. And so I guess those would be the biggest ones. I also have a Facebook page, and it's just Elizabeth Williams. So those are the easiest ways to connect.
Perfect. So definitely reach out, follow Elizabeth, cheer for the Atlanta Dream, and follow her career. She's going to be you're going to be a doctor within the next.
Yep, that's the plan.
Yep. So Dr. Williams, I'll just start calling you Dr. Williams now. I'll get used to that. But thank you again for joining me, and I really appreciate your insight. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
This is Athletes as Educators.
Thank you for listening to the Athletes as Educators podcast. Connect with me through the Athletes as Educators Facebook page or at Athletes Educate on Instagram. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode, and go over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review. For more resources and information about today's podcast, you can check us out at AngelaRLewis.com.